All right, President Trump tonight directing the FBI to dig into Brett Kavanaugh's background for a 7th time, saying, quote, "I've ordered the FBI to conduct a supplemental investigation to update Judge Kavanaugh's file. As the Senate has requested, this update must be limited in scope and completed in less than 1 week." All right, former FBI consultant and DOJ prosecutor Joseph Moreno is here to separate fact from fiction about how this is really going to work. Joe, good to have you with us.
Shannon, good to be here.
Okay, so the FBI, let's talk about this. Shannon Bream tweeted out, she's a White House correspondent for Bloomberg. She says, a note on what the FBI can and can't do. This isn't a criminal investigation, no grand jury, so they can't subpoena records or force anyone to testify. Joe, what are they going to do?
So, I mean, I think there's a lot of misconception because people think that there's going to be this CSI type effect and the FBI is going to swoop in, crack the case, and either vindicate Judge Kavanaugh or prove these crimes, prove these allegations true. The fact is none of the above. The FBI will gather facts. Now, normally this is done far prior, before we got into the process like this, when things are still confidential. The fact is that now we're tipped off to these allegations. So the FBI, it's sort of a hybrid. It's not quite a background investigation, but it's not a criminal investigation. So you're right, no subpoena authority. They can ask questions, they can ask for statements, they can get some records, but again, there's no physical evidence here. There's no forensic evidence here. There's no electronic evidence here. It's far too old for that. So they're really going to be limited to about half a dozen people, largely duplicative of what's already been done by the Senate.
Well, and we've heard from just about everybody who is involved here or has been named by Dr. Ford in the allegations about the party. Every one of them has given some kind of statement. Tonight we're hearing from several of them again saying, I'm willing to participate with law enforcement. That's, not a problem. And I will do this and answer these questions. NPR saying this, the FBI will not give its own determination about the truthfulness of what witnesses say. One reason Grassley and Kavanaugh both earlier said they opposed activating the Bureau. Investigators probably only will conduct interviews and then pass them on to the Senate, they said. So is that basically going to be more of the same?
We're going to come full circle, right? So let's say, an investigation is being done of me because I'm being nominated for some position. They go talk to my childhood friends and someone says Moreno committed this act back then. They might talk to some other people to see who else may have heard this, but they're not going to try to prove or disprove if the act actually happened. They'll take the statements to whomever is looking at this information, in this case it's the Senate, and say, here you go. But you, the Senate, have to make the decision about whether or not you think this is credible and what to do with it.
What about the time frame? Because we know with the Anita Hill case, there were many more witnesses who were named and that the FBI talked to. It took 3 days. So what about a 1-week time frame here? Her attorneys, Dr. Ford's attorneys, are saying there shouldn't be any artificial timelines or restrictions on this. But is that doable? From
what we know, we're talking about half a dozen people. So it should be doable. Now, the question is whether or not that's going to pacify the minority. And that's another question entirely. I guarantee very little will be gained from this FBI investigation. So the fact is we have all the information that's out there. The FBI, look, it's possible they will find something, but it's very unlikely they will add much to this process. What is very likely is that whatever they find will be rejected by the minority as insufficient.
And again, lying to a federal agent, big problem if you do that.
Big problem. Big problem. Right. Same as lying to the Senate, though.
Yeah. All right. Either way, their stories better match if they've told multiple times the story under oath. All right, Joe, thank you very much. Very interesting and helpful.
Thanks, Shannon. Good to be here.